Mary here, and welcome to a new edition of Books and Cookies Book Talk. In today's video, we are having a story time with Mary-ish thing. I realized that maybe some of you might be confused because I have mentioned before I am from Romania, but I only read in English. And when I tell people that, most of them look at me a little bit funny. They're all like, but why are you not reading in Romanian? Why do you do this to yourself? To add to that, my YouTube channel is in English, my blog is in English, everything is in English. And begs the question, why? And I thought I would tell you guys a bit about why I choose to do this the way I do. I started learning English at a very young age. I was about 5 years old when I learned my first English words. I fell in love with the language. It continued like that throughout school. I started learning English at school when I was in the 2nd grade, so I was around 7 years old. And in middle school, I was put in the intensive English class, which actually continued into high school, where I was in the most advanced English class of the high school. We had English about 7 times a week, which was kind of a lot because I had more classes of English than I had of Romanian. In college, I went on to study, again, more English, but it was more focused because I studied politics in English. I was surrounded by this language my whole life. It came very natural to me to learn it. I never had issues with tenses, with words, with everything like this. It was very, very easy for me to learn the language. I think I read my first book that was fully in English when I was around 12. It was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. My best friend at the time got it as a gift, and I just picked it up. I wanted to try to see if I was able to actually read a whole novel in English at such an early age. Harry Potter was an amazing start to this journey because it's very simplistic as compared to other books in English that I read right now. And it was quite easy for me to get through it, although I did have to look up a lot of words because I did not know them, but I managed to get through it. And then I just wanted more because I fell in love with Harry, I fell in love with this world. I actually purchased the 3 or 4 books in Romanian, and something didn't sound just right. Having read the story in English first and then coming to Romanian, it was a huge difference. It's not the same feeling at all. And I think that people who actually read in English and in their native language, you know, the same book, can attest to the fact that there's a huge difference when it comes to translations. I read the first 3 or 4 Harry Potter books in Romanian, and then I actually got caught up with the novels. No, yes, there was a time I caught the time when Harry Potter was not out in its entirety. It was a simpler time. Next books that kept coming out, and my friend actually got them really fast because she had relatives in America that sent her the books, and I read them and I loved them so much. I actually don't think I've read the Harry Potter books in Romanian starting with book 4 onwards. I just didn't bother anymore. Fast forward to high school, I started reading in English a little bit more. I stopped in college because I did not have any time to read for pleasure anymore. Not in Romanian, not in English, not in anything. But then I found out that A Song of Ice and Fire was a thing. I got the first novel in the series, The Game of Thrones. I got it in Romanian. I read it and I loved it. I got the second book in English, and there was just such a huge difference between them. I cannot express this enough. A different story altogether. Continued with the next books in English. Then I discovered Tumblr, and something exploded in me. I realized that I enjoy reading in English very much. Difference in translations is a huge one. There is so much of the magic in the book that's lost in translation that I don't want that to happen to me. I want to experience the book first and foremost in its language, in the language that it was written, in the language that the author intended it to come out in. Most of the books that I read are new releases, and they're in a genre that's not very popular here in Romania. Not many people have heard of young adult books. Yeah, young adult books aren't very popular here, which means that they don't get translated. There are very few of them that actually get translated, and then as a secondary thing, you run the risk of the whole series not being translated because the first couple of books don't sell well. I prefer to read them directly in English because I get to experience them the way that they were intended. I don't run the risk of not getting the full series translated. And at the same time, I am exposed to a lot more books this way because I don't wait for the translation. Because I read in English, because I have my blog in English, because I interact with other readers in English, I get to interact with the authors themselves, which is something awesome. Because these are the reasons that I choose to read in English. The most important one is the fact that I love it. It's just so poetic and melodic. I've had people kind of assume that I'm a snob because I choose to read in English, not in my native language. It doesn't mean that I don't love my country or my native language. I just prefer reading books in English because they sound better. Honestly, what there is to it. It's my life, it's my reading habit, it's my money. So I don't give a shit if they see me read in English or if they judge me for it. But I felt like I needed to tell you guys as well that you can choose to read in whatever language you want. It's your decision to make and it's perfectly okay. That doesn't mean that you don't love your country or that you're snobbish or that you're whatever the fuck people come up with. It's your reading, it's your life, and you just do whatever you want with it. This was probably a very weird video, but I needed to do it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. And remember, books for the soul, cookies for the tongue. Bye everyone!